Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel Crazy Over Parties. Guys, before we get started, please make sure that you like, subscribe, share the channel with other creators, DIYers, event planners, anyone that you know that will enjoy the videos that we post, okay? We don't just do balloons here. We do flowers, we do centerpieces, we do DIY projects. I have some backdrop walls that we're going to build together real soon. So anybody that you know that's a DIY lover, y'all share our page with them, show us some love, and send them our way. All right, guys. So as you can see, well, actually you can't see because at this point the wind was calm. I didn't have any issues. But as I started getting into putting the details on this garland and building it more, the wind picked up. Okay, my hair was blowing, the balloons were blowing. The wind started off great, but I don't know what it had against me because it just started attacking me towards the end. So you guys know how we do. We are building the base of our garland out of 11 and 17-inch balloons. I am over inflating my balloons and then I am going to release some of that air and push it against my skin. And because this garland is outside, we do not want to put too much air in the balloons because as it gets hotter outside, the balloons are going to expand and then they'll pop if they get too big. This install, I am using Tuftex Blue Slate. And overall, I use 11, 17, 5, and a few 24-inch balloons. I am going to do this balloon garland a little bit differently this time. You guys know that I'm obsessed with 260s. That's just the easier route for me. But for the sake of this video and teaching, I am going to use fishing line. So in a lot of my other videos, I tell you guys that I prefer to use 260s fishing line. You can be rough with it, but you can't be too rough because it'll tear your balloons if you pull it too tight. So for the sake of just showing you guys how I use fishing line for my balloons or to refresh my own memory, because in the event that, let's just say, I forget my 260s at home, or if I run out, I still want to be up on my skill of how to properly use fishing line for a balloon install. So let's finish up blowing these balloons. Again, we're going to reduce the amount of air we're putting in them because it's an outside balloon install. Although the wind is shining, it is still sunny outside and I do not want my balloons to expand and pop on me. So let's finish up blowing the balloons and we'll get into how we build this balloon garland. All right, guys, so now we're going to start building the base of the garland. We have the balloons in sets of fours, and we're going to tie another set of four balloons on top of each other to build the garland to its desired height. As you continue adding your balloons, your balloon garland should start to look something like what I have here. Now, I could have used fishing line to attach the balloons to each other and just wrapped it around in multiple places. But I am still continuing with tying the necks together to build the garland. And then I'll use my fishing line at the end to add my detail and also hang it in its desired position. Larger balloons, 17-inch and above, I don't place them all in one area on top of each other or on the same side. I try to mix it in, so I might do two sets of 11-inch balloons, then another set that might have three 11-inch and one 17-inch balloon. Now, guys, I know I told you that I had like some balloons that I have had for a very long time. And some of them are starting to do this, like they're stuck in a pack. Please comment below if you have had this same issue with some older balloons and how you may have solved the problem. Because like here, you see me throw out a lot of balloons and I'm just like, that's a waste of money and I wish I could use it. So I am using 20-pound fishing line for this install, okay? I think I got this from Walmart, but you can get it from any craft store. And here is where I am placing my garland, right in that on that middle pole. So I am unraveling my fishing line. I have my scissors. You definitely need scissors if you're going to do your balloon garland with fishing line. And I also have my painter's tape. So I am going to wrap the pole with the fishing line, or wrap the balloons around the pole with the fishing line. But I'm also going to use my painter's tape just to make sure it holds in place well. I am placing the garland that I have built here at the bottom first. So I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. So I'm wrapping that fishing line around the pole. My balloons are beginning to blow. I'm going to tie 2 knots just to make sure it's secure. And then I'm going to put painter's tape on top of that fishing line to hold it in place. I'm going to add a little bit more fishing line because I was a little rusty with using fishing line and I cut it too short. So easy fix, just add a little bit more fishing line so that it can hold. I can wrap my balloons around in 2 to 3 different places, and then I'll tie it to what's on the pole. For this install, I kept cutting my fishing line too short. So my suggestion to you guys would be to cut extra fishing line when you're building this. If you're going to build your garland out of fishing line, don't cut it too short. Although you can go back and add more, just save yourself the time of what I am doing here and just cut it a little bit long from the beginning. With 260s, you kind of get in mind that it's already cut for you, so you don't have to go through that. You can add to it, and it's a lot more stretchier. You're not really stretching fishing line the way you would a 260. So just go ahead and cut extra fishing line from the beginning so you don't have to go back and continue to pull more as you're building your garland. Now that I was finally able to get the fishing line together, if you guys, this is a video, so I wish I could post the whole time that I stood there messing with fish line. It was literally about 10 minutes, but of course I wouldn't let you sit through that, so I sped it up a little bit. But yeah, I am a little bit, let's say, I need to work with fishing line a little bit more just to improve my skill, just in case. But you see me here, I am wrapping that fishing line in multiple places because I want to make sure that that balloon garland is secure. It's starting to get a little windy outside and I just don't want any mishaps. I'm also going to secure the bottom of that balloon garland, and I am going to put about 4 balloons at the bottom, put water inside, and attach it to the bottom of the garland just to put a little weight down there and hold it down. So I got my fishing line ready. I cut it, and I am going around the base of the garland, or the bottom of the garland, and I am going to wrap it. And I again cut it too short, so I just added a little bit more and problem solved, and it was attached to the bottom and secure. Another thing that I noticed, and it may just be me, maybe because I got spoiled with 260s and I think I'm too good for fishing line now or whatever, but it's hard on your hands. Fishing line is hard on your hands. Like, I just feel like it's just like it doesn't cut you per se, but it kind of feels like it's just cutting you. Like, it's just not as smooth as the latex on a 260 balloon. So I am doing this balloon garland for y'all, but you already know how I feel. Like, I love 260s. This fishing line stuff was just, it was good practice. It was good refreshing, a good refresher for me. But if you're starting out, I would suggest using fishing line just so you know how to do it. Practice with both so you can have both skills down pat. And now I am starting to build the top half of the garland, and I am doing that by just adding more balloons to the top by tying the necks together. And you've guys seen me do this in previous videos, so if you have not watched any other of our videos, please go back. I'll make sure I'll link a few in the description box that may be beneficial for you, so you can see how we do just a simple garland So you can practice and do it yourself as well. So although the garland looks a little funny right now, overall it turned out very well. I had a vision in mind, and that is 75% of the garland, y'all. You kind of have to know beforehand how you're going to build it or what you want it to look like. Because if you go on site to the day of and you're kind of figuring it out, it's going to take you time to figure out what you want it to look like. Like, that's half the problem, is just figuring out what you want it to look like, and then the execution will go so much faster. So I built the top of the garland, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to secure it with my fishing line afterward. And if you guys aren't really or haven't noticed, you can see that I have one 17-inch balloon attached to the garland so far. There's no other detail on the garland, just that one 17-inch balloon. And that's okay, because you can still go back and add your details later. But I just want to point out that I didn't jumble them all in together. Like, I kind of spread them out just so they could look nice. And then I went back and I added one more towards the top of the garland so it's spread out. I didn't want the garland to be just kind of in a straight line. I kind of wanted it to be like shaped or half shape a little bit. So I put it to the side just a little bit before I tied it down. And then once I got it secure, I went back and I added a whole lot more 4-inch clusters to make it larger and more flush. Right, guys, and this is what the garland looked like thus far. I am now going to use fishing line to attach some more 4-inch clusters to the garland, because like I said, I just wanted to be large and I wanted to not be so thin. So I'm going to add some more 4-inch clusters, and you see that I have tied a knot and I around that 4-inch cluster, and then I'm going to use the rest of the fishing line to wrap around the garland that's already on the pole, so that that 4-inch cluster is secure and it won't blow away. And now you see I have it where I want it to go, and all I am doing is wrapping the fishing line around the balloons that's already there. This is the part that I always say that you can kind of tear your balloons if you're a little bit too rough, if you pull it too tight. I didn't have any issues with that today. I guess I left my heavy-handedness somewhere else, because I am definitely heavy-handed, but thankfully I didn't pop any of my balloons today. One perk about using fishing line though is it's clear. So I have, of course, I'm going to have like a little small piece left over once I wrap those balloons around, but it's clear, so I don't have to worry about the string showing. You won't really be able to see it. I can just tuck it in somewhere, or if I'm being lazy, I really could leave it out and it's not going to stand out in the client's picture or whatnot, because it's a clear fishing line. So I am going to repeat those steps of just tying the fishing line around in multiple places. And you guys can see here that it's already starting to look nice and full. And I haven't even added all the balloons yet, but the shape is really coming together. So stay tuned and let's continue watching. I think you guys are really going to love how this garland turned out, because I did. So y'all know how I feel about the bottom of the balloon garland. Like, I just wanted to be nice and full at the bottom. I wasn't really liking how the bottom was looking right now. So I went ahead and I got my fish line and I went on in and I added my 17-inch and 11-inch balloons at the bottom so that it could be nice and full. That already made a huge difference with adding balloons to the bottom. So I went back and I added a few more just so that it could be a little bit more dramatic. Sun is already starting to change the way the balloons look. Some of them look a little bit more matte than the others. And then towards the bottom of the garland, where the sun is not, the balloons are not directly hit by the sunlight, they look a lot more blue than the top. The top kind of looks like a shade of gray to me, and the bottom looks a lot more blue. And they're the exact same balloons, but the sun can definitely have an effect on what color or how your balloons turn out when they sit out there for a while. So just keep in mind when you're doing an outside install that they will go matte, they will expand, and the sun will have so many different effects on how your balloons will turn out. I did not like that large gap there, so I am closing that in rather, with my 5-inch balloon clusters.
Never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart so slow. But if you don't wanna tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know.
All right, guys, and I am all done. And this is the way that this blue slate balloon garland turned out. Turned out very nice to me. If you disagree or if you would have done anything differently, please let me know in the comments below, because overall I think that I did good. But like I said, I'm here to learn and teach you guys as well. But if you're an experienced balloon artist, let us know in the comments below if you would have done something better or if there's something that I could have done better in this install. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate you guys for tuning in each time and for subscribing and liking the video. So please continue to share our channel with anyone that you know that's a DIY lover. It is helping us out, y'all. I'm going to make sure that I come back with videos more frequently and larger installs for any of you people that may not be beginners and you're like, okay, girl, let's get to something a little bit harder. I got those videos coming too. So just make sure that you like, subscribe, share the channel. And until next time, guys, thanks again. Y'all be safe and toodles.